NBA is one of the world's greatest examples of human athleticism, and during almost every second of its competition, the world's greatest basketball players are showing off their skills to the best of their ability. However, sometimes the best athletes have to remind us that they too are still human, whether they mean to or not. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the most embarrassing moments NBA players have experienced on the court. So don't go anywhere, because this is a list that you are not going to want to miss a second of. Jason Kidd's hit me incident. I know that kicking off the list this way means that I'm technically breaking the rules on the first entry, but the incident is so hilarious that I don't care. Also, it's my list, so what are you going to do about it? Anyway, in a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and Jason Kidd's Brooklyn Nets, the Nets found themselves down by 2 points with only 8 seconds left. Coach Kidd also found himself without a timeout available for use, meaning that he had no way to stop the clock and draw up a play to score a bucket to either tie or win the game. So instead of just hoping his players would come up with something, Jason Kidd bumped into one of his players, causing a drink to spill, resulting in the floor team needing to come clean up the floor. This gave Kidd and the Nets some extra time to discuss a play. The incident turned out to be a disaster for Kidd for a few reasons. Firstly, the play incident was reviewed by the NBA, and it is very clear that Coach Kidd verbally asked his player to hit him, therefore spilling the drink onto the court. The NBA was then forced to fine Kidd $50,000 for this unsportsmanlike move. Secondly, the play the Nets attempted did not work, and even after being knocked over and spilling a drink and being subsequently fined $50,000 by the league, the Nets still lost the game. Talk about embarrassing, am I right? James Harden hitting himself in the face. You know, when you're playing basketball during gym class at school and the one kid who would rather be doing math homework refuses to get open under the rim, so you end up making an awful pass, resulting in a fast break for the guy who tries too hard in gym class, resulting in your team getting literally dunked on. So in protest, you grab the ball and slam it really hard against the ground to prove that you're angry? Well, imagine a big bearded man doing that, but in the NBA. Oh, and having the ball bounce up and hit the guy right in said beard on national TV. Well, in a game between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Houston Rockets, James Harden did exactly that. He was frustrated with a call, so he bounced the ball off the ground and tried to catch it. But when he did, the ball went right through his hands and smacked him in the face. The embarrassed Harden walked to his position as if nothing had happened. But rest assured, James, we saw it and we won't forget it. Speaking of James Harden, he's done his fair share of embarrassing others as well. Against the Los Angeles Clippers, James Harden and the Rockets were doing their best to embarrass the Clippers as a whole on the scoreboard. But I guess that wasn't enough for Harden. He needed to embarrass one man so publicly that the entire world would see it for years to come. Wesley Johnson was simply trying to enjoy the game he loves with the Los Angeles Clippers when James Harden did him so dirty that Johnson ended up on the SportsCenter highlight reel for all the wrong reasons. Johnson was guarding Harden at the three-point line when Harden hit Johnson with a crossover and step back that sent Johnson to the floor. To make it even more embarrassing for Johnson, Harden waited at the three-point line wide open and stared directly at Johnson for a solid 3 seconds. When Harden had figured that he had embarrassed Johnson to the point that he could never show his face in public again, he decided to shoot and hit that three-point bucket. It is safe to say that this is easily Johnson's most embarrassing moment ever in the NBA. Steph Curry might be allergic to dunking. Steph Curry has worked hard to be the greatest three-point shooter of all time and one of the greatest players to ever play in the history of the NBA. While crisp passes, wicked handles, and distant shooting all find themselves in his repertoire, Steph just cannot dunk. And I mean, fair enough, Steph is one of the more vertically challenged players in the league, but that does not stop him from trying to look like a big man every so often. In a blowout game between the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers, Steph earned himself a fast break. Steph is all alone, so he decides to add insult to injury. even though he and the Warriors were up 107-71 in the third quarter. Well, Steph had to suffer through a big slice of humble pie when he attempted to dunk the ball and proceeded to slip harder than a disc in my lower back when I tried to do anything athletic. To make the incident more embarrassing, Curry ends up getting the ball later in the play and tries to shoot a three-pointer, something he is famously good at. Well, instead of making up for his failed dunk and nailing the three-pointer, he completely airballs it. Good thing the Warriors were killing the Lakers, or else he would have made an already embarrassing moment much worse. The Warriors cannot avoid embarrassment. Despite the Warriors being a modern-day dynasty, they still have their fair share of embarrassing moments. And despite the team being filled with superstar talent, it always seems to be them doing the hilariously embarrassing thing. In a game against the Dallas Mavericks in 2016, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry came rushing down the court on a partial break. Steph drove the ball to the corner, looking like he was going to take a signature three-pointer from the corner. So in classic Warriors fashion, Klay Thompson turned to the crowd and held up three fingers, insinuating that Steph was going to hit the open three. Now, if Steph had taken the shot, this would be one of the coolest sports duo moments of all time. Instead, it should be the cover for a Three Stooges remake starring Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Because the very second Klay turned around, Steph passed the ball to Klay, who obviously could not see the ball, so the ball bounced right off Klay's back, resulting in the play dying right then and there. Luckily, Klay and Steph have established themselves as Hall of Fame players, so this moment won't be too much of a blemish on their permanent records, but it will be a hilarious and embarrassing stain on both of their careers that I'm sure they laugh about now. Nick Young and Kemba Walker called it a game too soon. Now, earlier I said that if Steph had made the three-point shot when Klay put three fingers in the air, it would have been one of the coolest moments in sports. However, it turned out to look really stupid instead, not too unlike two shots that also would have been cool if they went in, but turned out to make the shooters look really dumb. The first one, and the less embarrassing of the two, belongs to Nick Young, who took a three-point shot, watched the ball circle the hoop, then turned around and put his arms in the air like he just hit a game-winning bucket, only to find out a few seconds later that the ball continued to circle the hoop and eventually spun off the hoop and out of the basket. Young quickly had to get back in the play and stop showboating his missed shot. As embarrassing as that is, it's not nearly as embarrassing as another missed shot, this time put up by Kemba Walker. Walker tossed up a wide-open three and saw its arc heading directly in, so Walker did what anyone would naturally do, turn around to face a camera and began to shimmy his entire body. Well, while Kemba was shimmying, the ball bounced out and the play continued, but Walker didn't care. He was still in shimmy mode, baby. Walker continued to shimmy for far too many seconds after the ball did not go in, making this probably the most cringe-worthy moment a player could have in the NBA. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. What do you guys think was the most embarrassing moment on today's list? What are some embarrassing moments in the NBA that we didn't mention that you want people to know about? Let everyone know in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It's free to you, only takes a second, and goes a long way in supporting the channel. Thank you all again so much, and we will see you all in the next video.